Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Getting everything set up. We had a bit of a mouse issue this morning. That type of mouse, not the squeaky fairy type. Though we do have the squeaky fairy type as well. Yes, a few technical challenges this morning. But there you go. Anyway, welcome. Oh, people are here already. Good morning, Janet. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. If you are watching, as always, do please pop a hello in the comments and we will see where today takes us. I haven't checked everything. It's working, so let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. That's working. I'm sure you'll shout if you can't see or hear me. Mad dash to try and find batteries. We have a battery box. Does everyone have a battery box? Could we find it this morning? No. Disappeared somewhere with all the odd socks. Good morning, Dawny. Good morning, Claire. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Good morning, Susan from West Sussex. We have sunshine today. Rain yesterday, sunshine today. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Lolly. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Emma. It has been nice and cool these last few days. It was cooler last night. The days, although they've been damper, don't seem to have been much cooler. And we've got a warm weekend ahead, apparently, but we don't mind because girls and I are going to the White Raven Festival on Saturday. So all good. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Karen. Very cloudy here. We have had clouds this morning. It's clearing up. Yeah, Pete's downstairs working. Eric is sitting in the kitchen looking out at the garden, surveying his domain and, tolerating the birds, the odd pigeon, unless it's a cat, and then he gets up and barks. Or it's something invisible, he barks. Or anything, he barks, really. Good morning, Angela. Other way around for us. Sunshine yesterday, rain today. That's not I'll say the garden needs it because that's what all gardeners say, isn't it? Good evening, Zephora from the other side of the planet. Hello. Good morning, David. Morning meditation has put me in a floaty mood. Need coffee to ground. Oh, definitely coffee for grounding. Absolutely. Thank you. Let's put this up. Let's do a little bit of shout. Look, if you are thinking of having a reading from Rachel and Heather, do it. I had mine and it was so much fun and informative. Bang for bucks too. Thank you. It was our absolute pleasure to read for you. We are doing unique triad readings. You get reading from all three of us at once. Chaos. No, it's not. You can order it from the online shop. You can have Zoom type face-to-face, or you can have readings where we just record a video for you, entirely up to you. But all three of us do a reading for you. So I read my Aliman's Magpie Tarot, Ness reads the runes, and Heather reads her bones and the Ogham. So you get a combination of the three. Thank you for that. Thank you. I'm so pleased you got a benefit from it. Good morning, Kerry from Rainy Brecon at Wickedy Witch Camp. I hope it gets drier. Janet, love the pattern on your top. It is a dress. It's a dress that what I made. Very straightforward, my sewing skills. Good morning, Susie. Oh yeah, there's a link to the readings if anyone's interested. Emma, highest it's been here is 21 to 24. Grateful it's not in the 30s anymore. Yeah, I think that's what we've got for the weekend, those sort of temperatures. Good morning, Karen. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. So today's subject, petitions. So that's just, I don't think I've actually talked about that before. It's in the Candle Magic book. There are chapters on it, and there's a chapter on it in the Candle Magic book. But I don't think I've talked about it before. So that's the subject for today. I got told off last week for not doing the announcements first, so let's do those. We have an online ritual Sunday, abundance ritual, online, open to everyone. Any bits you need are on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook page, 7 o'clock, or you can follow along with us, or you can just watch, entirely up to you. We have got a slightly different online ritual for September. We're going to combine it with the Sulis book launch, that side, Sulis book launch, and do a mini free online workshop like we did for the Dragon Magic. So there'll be a couple of hours and we will talk about Sulis, do a bit of a presentation, then do a ritual. And that is on Saturday, 7th of September. All the details for the events can be found on my website and on the Kitchen Witch website on our events page. So do have a look. Good morning, Xenia. On the way to Mira Luna Music Festival. That sounds fabulous. Just looking at those to make sure I haven't missed anything. No, I haven't. So petitions. Good morning, Trudy. Petitions is the idea for today. Now, what do I mean by petition? That slip of paper or leaf or piece of bark that you write on, that you write your intent on when you are working spells. It might be the piece of paper that you write on and then burn. You might bury it, you might drop it in water, you might fold it up and put it in a spell pouch, you might leave it on your altar. Basically, the words that you put on a piece of paper for your magic spell is a petition. You are petitioning the universe, you are petitioning the gods, you are petitioning whatever it is that you work with. So that's petitions, but there's a lot of ways to work with them, and there are different things you can do to boost the energy or to switch it up a bit. So that's what we are looking at today. Do you work with petitions? If you do, how do you include them in your spell working, and any hints and tips? So there you go. Janet, is there a petition you can write while doing home repairs? This is personal to you, so focus. Get a slip of paper in front of you and think about what you want to achieve. Visualize. I think this is important for any spell working. Whatever you're doing, whether you are setting up the ingredients, actually working the spell, writing the petition, whatever it is, visualize your goal while you're doing it, because you are then adding more energy to it. So I would say visualize the goal of your home repairs and see what words come into your head. Petitions don't need to be long. It could just be successful home repairs. Don't make it complicated. Keep it very simple. But the power in it is you visualizing and putting that energy into those words that you put on the petition. So it will be very personal to you, but keep it short. What do you do with your petition papers? How do you work with them? I sometimes pin my petition paper to my candle if I'm working candle magic. If you've got one of the old-fashioned oil lamps, you can pin it to the wick of the lamp as well. Lamp magic is brilliant. It very, very similar to candle magic, but if you've got one of the old-fashioned lamps, you can work magic with that as well. It's all in the candle magic book. I sometimes place the petition under the candle so that the wax melts onto it as it burns. Sometimes if I want to keep it, I will place it just in front of the candle if I'm working candle magic. Generally, if I'm writing a petition, I will set fire to it and burn it, whether it's from the candle flame, fire flame, or just lighter matches. Burn it and then drop it into a cauldron. You can bury it in the soil. You can drop it into water and let it disintegrate. Sometimes I have popped it out in the garden if it's really sunny and let the sun bleach the paper. You can put it under the moon to charge your petition. So you can charge it under the moon phases. If you've got the beeswax candles, the sheet candles that roll up, you can put your petition inside the candle wax and re-roll it, and then it burns as you burn your candle. Mine, because that will flare. You can fold it up, roll it up, put it in spell pouches or witch bottles. If you've got walnut shells, make really good spell cases. You made me jump then.
I did.
You were stealth mode then. You made me jump.
Stealth? Have you seen me? I'm not sure stealth and me go together.
Thank you.
You're going to stealth away now.
Yeah. That did make me jump. Janet, because since I've started these home repairs, I've felt displaced. Any time that you are working repairs or renovations or alterations to your house, it's gonna make the energy in the house feel a bit unbalanced. I speak from experience. Connect with the energies of your home and let it know what's going on. Connect with those energies of your house and just keep it in the loop and let it know what you're doing and why you're doing it. That communication needs to happen between you and the house. It will be a bit disruptive for a while. You can bring a bit of balance in by smudging, bringing crystals in just to balance things out. But yeah, keep in communication with your home and the actual structure of your home and let it know what you're doing, because it's chaos. I feel for you. I do feel for you. Right, Jane, I save red and blue envelopes from birthday cards. They're good for writing names on for freezer spells. For petitions, I use the pages I take out of my cut and paste journals to stop them puffing out. Paper is handmade and more special than mass-produced paper. Sometimes I write my petition directly onto the candle with a hat pin. Yes, carving into candles is brilliant. Love it. That brings me to the actual type of paper. That's an interesting point. I generally use whatever paper I've got, which is usually printer paper. I do have a roll of brown paper. Sometimes I feel drawn to just tear off a piece of brown paper. There are some magical practices where a petition is always on a piece of torn brown paper. But I've used photocopy paper. I've used nice note paper, pieces of card, leaves. If you've got big leaves, they work really well. The really big bay leaves work well. Any tree leaves are really good for writing petitions on. Envelopes are good. I use envelopes as spell pouches, particularly if they are used envelopes. So if I've got an envelope from a bank statement or a bill, then I will use that for prosperity magic or to help clear the debts by using the envelope as the spell pouch. Envelopes from Valentine's cards or birthday cards from people that you love can be used in happiness and love spells as the spell pouch. But equally, you can use the paper to write your petitions on as well. I think it's about adding layers to your magic by bringing in all these different correspondences. Be mindful if you are burying anything that it is eco-friendly paper, and be very mindful. There has been a habit of popping petitions or offerings in water. Please avoid that if you can. Our rivers, our streams, our wells, anything that you throw in there that's not native, that's not part of the water system, is going to cause problems. So just bear that in mind. I like to burn it, so you can use all sorts of stuff. If you are working a spell for traveling or trying to make a decision or not knowing what direction to go, you could write your petition on a little piece of old map. If you are working a prosperity spell or a spell to clear your debts, you could write your petition on your piece of bank statement or a check. Something that is connected to that to bring in those extra energies. Think about what you associate with those, and that can be written on, obviously, and destroyed. I do sometimes print off images on pieces of paper to use as petitions. And if you buy any of the poppet kits or the poppets from the Kitchen Witch shop, you will get printed petition papers in there that I print. So for Prosperity Spell, I would print a piece of paper with images of banknotes on. For directions, clarity, focus kind of spell, I might print pictures of magnifying glasses or compasses on the piece of paper, just so that you're adding that extra layer of energy by the images that you use, just to sort of tie it in. This is Dawny. Making paper yourself and write a petition on works very well. Making paper is not as difficult as people think, and you put your own energy in this paper and you reuse old paper too. It is quite straightforward. I have done it. It's a bit wet and soggy, but it is actually fun to make. You can add, actually, if you have bought a piece of paper, you can add to the energy of it by dabbing the corners with essential oil blends that tie in with the energy of your intent. You can use coloured ink. I like handwriting things. All my lists are handwritten. A lot of the notes for my books are handwritten before I type them up. And I love using an ink pen. I've got a beautiful ink pen that was handmade. And I've got green ink in it at the moment. And it's very creative, and it makes me happy every time I write with it. So I think you have to feel comfortable with the implement you are using to write with. Ink pens, obviously, lovely. Anyway, you could write with a quill dipped into, dipped into ink. It's not as easy to write with as you think. It does take a bit of practice. But it is fun, and it does make you feel like Harry Potter. I've used coloured felt tip pens and brought the colour of the pen into the intent. Green felt tip pen for prosperity. I have some purple biros that we use at our workshops, but that purple works really well for any psychic energies or spirituality type of spell workings. It's bringing all these different layers in. I mean, you could just use a pencil. It's entirely up to you. Do what works for you. Got to feel right for you, obviously. Emma, I did read somewhere. Forgive me if I'm wrong. None of us are perfect. We're all fallible. Some ancient Egyptians used to write their petitions and loosely tie onto an acacia tree. If it fell, it was answered. I think there's probably lots of folk traditions like that. If it didn't fall, you had to try again. There's lots of folk traditions, divination type things like that. Yeah, if it's not the ancient Egyptians, Emma, it'll be some culture. That does sound very familiar. Susie, I use Rizzlers if I want it to rot quickly. Good idea. Rizzler papers. Excellent. Good morning, Eve. David, why not write messages on the wall? Write happy, love, personal words to the house with your own saliva to give it personal connection to reassure the home. Yeah, absolutely. And you can use all sorts of things. Doesn't have to be spit if you're uncomfortable with that. It could be salt water. Could just be visualization. It could just be drawing signs in the air. It's about making connection with your home to let it know that I'm very, very warm. I'm just going to open the window. Bear with me a second. There we go. Oof. Oh, yes, I can see the sunshine now. It's going to be a warm one. Sorry about that. Oh, that's better. Fresh air. Karen, if I'm asking for help to do something, I usually burn my petition in a fire pit or cauldron. If I'm asking for help with health issues, I'll usually keep the petition in a spell pouch. Has to be right for you. It has to work. There are lots of ways of using them. If I'm writing a health spell, then I sometimes use the back of an old prescription because you're tying in You could use a piece of cardboard from the medication box. You're tying in the health issue with it. You're tying in that connection. Just about thinking about other things, really. Angela, I know someone who had a problem that needed dealing with, so she wrote her petition on a piece of toilet paper. Yep, dropped it in the loo, then went to the toilet, number 2, flushed it unconventionally, but the bully stopped. Flushing spells is, yeah, it's a general idea. It's a good idea. I have seen people say, write your petition on a piece of paper and flush it down the toilet. I would recommend the toilet paper rather than normal paper because it will dissolve and not be so damaging. But yes, I mean, think about it. I have put petitions in dog poo bags before now. Again, think about the whole connection of it all. Write someone's name or something you want to get rid of, bad habit, bad cycle, on a piece of paper, put it in the dog poop bag with the contents of the dog poo bag and put it in the dog poo bin. It's going to get rid of it. That's for sure. So my special fountain pens have purple ink. Very nice. Purple's a good colour. Jane, what does everyone think of the magical inks of tradition like Dove's blood ink? There are magical inks. There are Dove's blood ink. There's Dragon's blood ink. There are a whole range of those that you can buy these days that aren't actually the real thing. You can make your own ink as well. I think if you are working blood magic and you can get blood from the butchers, preferably not Dove's blood because that's just nasty. But if you want to work with blood magic, the butcher will give you some blood and you can use that to write with. But if you want to use a representation of it, beetroot juice works very well. But you can make your own ink as well. It's fairly straightforward to do. You can also boost ink as well. So I've got my bottle of green ink that I put into my ink pen. But you could take your bottle of ink, and if you wanted to bring that blood magic connection in, you could buy a bottle of red ink. Then you can add things to it. So you could add an essential oil. You could add dragon's blood essential oil to make it into dragon's blood ink. You could, Doves are peace, they are calm, they are purity. You could add an essential oil into your red ink that you associate with those intents. So I think for ink, if you want to use blood, then get it from your butchers. But you can make representations of blood ink from more better, that's terrible grammar, from nicer sources, put it that way. David, I used to carry a small notepad so I could quickly write something out and set light to it. But the pad mostly got used to write shopping lists. Yeah, you can speak your petitions, charms really. But if you're out and about and you have a leaf, you could tell your intent to the leaf. Holding the leaf, speak to it, send it off to the winds. Karen, I like writing petitions on fallen leaves, using a fallen stick with a pointy end to write with. Nice. I like that idea. Yep, excellent. Good morning, Maria. Nobody's asking you to frill the knickers. What my boss would say on my reports, be concise in petitions. I like that. I like that. Yes, you don't need to write the whole essay on your petition. It just 1 word, 2 words, 3 words maximum. It doesn't have to be complicated. Jane, sending petitions off via the elements is interesting. Burning uses fire and air. Writing on a leaf, it can be sent off in flowing water. Leaves and paper can be sent off to the earth via the compost heap. Toilet flushing sounds like a great method. It is, I want to say traditional. We haven't had flushing toilets forever. But yeah, it is a good way of working with it. Which is a good point, really. What do you do with the petition once you've written it? So you can put it in a spelt pouch or a witch bottle. You can fold it up and leave it on your altar. I have often folded it up and left it under a crystal on my altar to keep, if I want it to keep doing its thing. I also have a green man box that I call my magic box. So I quite often put petitions in there to do their thing. You can drop it in water. I have done that, but I prefer to drop it into a dish of water at home rather than drop it into the river or the ocean. You can leave it out in the sun, leave it out in the rain, leave it under the moon, bury it in the earth, carry it with you, tear it up and throw it to the winds, throw it in the trash or the compost heap to decompose, pop it in a dog poop bag or flush it down the toilet. Lots and lots of different ways. Go with your intuition on this, and feel what it needs to do, or what you need to do with it, how it needs to work, and think about the intent of the spell. So if you are trying to get rid of a bad habit or a bad person, then the toilet or the dog poo bag route would be quite good. If it's something to do with emotions, you might want to work with water in some form. If it's material things, you might want to work with earth, because that represents material wealth and property and house things, home things. Whatever you're working with is energy. You are manipulating energy. That's what spell work is. That's why candle magic works so well, because fire is all about transformations. Flames, candles, fires, fire pits, all of that. The sun is all about fire, and the element of fire is all about transformation. That's why it works so well as candle magic. So for me, that's usually my go-to, is burning it. But it has to work for you. Has to work for you. Oh, let's get some of these. Jane tried making ink once, but it went putrid. Yeah, there are, you've got to be careful. I've got a recipe here for looking at. I got some notes today from the Candle Magic book. If you've got the Candle Magic book, there are a couple of recipes for ink in there. So magical ink. Base of magical ink is water. General rule of thumb is 1 part water to 2 parts ingredient, and that might be fruits, herbs, bark, even blood, because blood will need to be diluted because it's too thick to write with. Pop them in a pan, bring the mixture to the boil and simmer it 20 minutes, 30 minutes until you get the saturation of color that you want. Then you need to strain it. I would recommend putting in a couple of teaspoons of gum arabic powder, because it helps the ink to be less watery, to be the right consistency. And it also helps the ink stick to the paper well. And then cool it. If you want to preserve it, put a teaspoon of alcohol in there. Vodka works really well. That will stop it from going yucky. Most berries and bark can be made into ink. Hawthorn berries work well. Cinnamon works well. Boil them basically in the water until you get the color that you want. The darker the better, obviously. The ink will lighten once you've written with it. Tea bags, coffee, they make a dark brown ink. Dragon's blood resin makes dragon's blood ink. Grind the resin to a fine powder, add it to the water, and then just, work with it. You can work with frankincense and myrrh, but it doesn't bring quite that same color. Vegetables, fruits like beetroots, blackberries, they make fabulous ink colors. Onion skins work really well as well. Root vegetables, although they need to be boiled, mashed, and then sieved. Blackberries you can mash cold and then strain them. Flower petals can be added. Herbs can be added. Just boil them in the water and then strain them. And then you can add your essential oil drops to it as well. It is fairly straightforward, but I would recommend adding rubbing alcohol or vodka, just a teaspoon to your quantity, because it preserves it. And if you want it to write smoother and flow smoother, then a bit of gum arabic as well. There are recipes in the Candle Magic book, but you can Google it. There's all sorts of recipes online to make a magical ink. Sorry, that was a bit long. Yeah, Susie, you do need to dilute blood with water because it's a bit thick otherwise. Maria, depending on what it's for, I write a couple of words, fold it towards or away, then burn, which is another very good thing about petition papers. If you've got a small slip of paper, then that's fine. But if you've got a bigger bit that you want to fold, folding the paper towards you is for bringing positive stuff in. So bringing money to you, bringing good health to you, bringing happiness to you. If you are trying to get rid of something, if you are releasing, letting go, then you need to fold the paper away from you. Simple actions, but they all have magical qualities to it. Trudy, I have eucalyptus gunny leaves, nice and long. I write on those as they have a cleansing, calming energy and smell pretty good when burning. Yes, they do smell very nice. The bigger leaves are brilliant for writing petitions. Emma, I'm terrible with written petitions. I put in a witch jar or spell pouch. I forget what I've done it for. Then it must be doing its magic, Emma. It's doing its magic. Jane, petitions can be written on sticky labels or stuck under your shoe or on a tire. Then it can be walked, ridden, driven to a quantum state and rematerialized as reality somewhere else. I think writing things on the bottom of your shoes is brilliant. It is foot track magic. It is you're stepping, you're walking, you're activating that magic as you walk. And that works really well. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Sue, no. Empty the dog poo out first. No. When I'm working with dog poo bags for spells, the idea is to keep the dog poo in there. So I would do it for getting rid of something, releasing, getting rid of a bad habit, a bad cycle, even protecting myself from negative energy or a particularly bad person. I would write the petition, put it in the bag with the dog poo, tie it up and put it in the dog poo bin, because that adds to the energy of it. It's icky, but it works. So yeah, calling on the witches who have dogs. If you don't have a dog, you could just secret write your petition and just drop it in the dog poo bin, because there's all sorts of stuff in there. That would work. Sephora, is it lemon juice to make invisible ink that you put in the sun? Lemon juice works very well in the sun. Yeah, it's great fun to do. Definitely. And you bring in the power of lemons then as well. Very cleansing, very purifying. Lemons are also aligned with the sun. So you've got double whammy of solar energy there too. Xenia, my favorite is burning the petitions, except if it's for an affirmation board where I want to see it every day. Yep. It's about going with your intuition, isn't it? And what works for you and what works for the intent. If it is something positive, you might want to see that petition every day just to add your energy to it and to reaffirm it. Angela, some herbs have anti-clotting properties, so you could dilute the blood with a tea made of that herb. Tea not for drinking. Oh no. Herbal properties may also add to the magic of the ink. That would work. That would work. That would work. Good morning, Jalala. Susie, you can use henna on the soles of your feet for petitions and sigils. That would work very nicely. If you use moisturizer, you can trace symbols and sigils on your body with the moisturizer. That works very well as well. Sue has a hedgehog. Can I use their poo? Oh, absolutely. Hedgehog poo would be brilliant. Were you bringing in the energy of the hedgehog then too? Oh, no, Jalal, I wouldn't say that. I thought you were going to say if you haven't got a dog, you could poop in the... If you haven't got a dog, you can use the flushing it down the toilet method. Write your petition on the toilet paper and flush it down the toilet. This is going very strange today. David, I like writing on the bay leaves I have in the garden for a quick crest. Yes, it's not like the bay tree misses them. In fact, it loves giving out its leaves. I rarely met such a generous plant. We have a very big bay tree in the garden, and it is always happy to give up its bay leaves. But remember with herbs and most herbs actually flourish if you keep picking them. So it's a beneficial kind of cooperation, tag team type of thing. Jane, if you don't have a dog, use the toilet paper method. Karen, does anyone stick their petitions in a witch ladder? Yes, I have done that, absolutely. I love working with witch ladders. You're bringing in the energy of plaiting, of tying things together. So you're bringing in knot magic. Traditionally, you put feathers in to activate the magic, but I've rolled up petitions and stuck them in between the braids as well. That works very well. Savora, writing petition in the soil, then sowing seeds in it. Nice. You can do that in the sand as well. You could write your petition in the sand and let the ocean waves wash it and activate it. Emma, my every evening petition was to write everything that stressed me out that day, fold it, ask for the stress to leave me, and then burn it in my little cauldron. That's a brilliant idea, Emma. Brilliant idea. We did talk a bit about paper. I had some other things written down here. Wrapping paper works very well as well. Business cards. I quite often use my business cards. If I'm working a success or a prosperity spell, then I will use the back of one of my business cards. Craft paper works very well as well. If you can get bark from trees, don't take it from the trees, but if they offer it, find pieces of bark, that works very well as well. But it doesn't have to be fancy. I like working with color magic, so quite often if I'm in a craft store, I will buy a pack of the colored paper, and then I'll tie the color for my petition paper into the intent. The other thing is name papers. Similar to a petition paper, name paper is used in a few different folk magic practices. It is about connecting the energy of a person to a spell. So a slip of paper, and this is where the brown paper usually comes in. It's usually torn, not cut with scissors, and from a brown paper bag or brown wrapping paper. Torn paper has a slightly different energy to it. It's got a kind of rawer energy to it somehow. Tearing, the whole action of tearing it as well adds a bit of energy to the paper. But then for a name paper, you would write in the center of the name paper, you write the name of the person that the spell is for or directed at. Use their full name if you know it. This is where business cards come in really well. If it's for you, your own business card works well. If it's for someone else and you've got their business card, that works brilliantly. You can also add a photograph. So if you've got a photo of someone, just write the person's name on the back of the image. It brings in the energy of that person. Write their name, then you would write your intent over the top of that name. So write the word over the top. So if you are bringing good health, if you're bringing healing to a person, then you would write their name, and then you would write good health or healing over the top of their name. And if you're bringing in energy, then you turn the paper clockwise and you write that word again over the top of their name. If you are releasing or getting rid of something, then you would turn the paper anti-clockwise and rewrite the words. I like to do it 3, 6, or 9 times, writing, turning, right, turn, right, just to add that number energy into it as well. You can also, starting at the edge of your paper, write a short sentence to describe your goal, but write it around the edge of the paper, turning the paper as you write so that the sentence goes around the edge and circles the name that's already in the middle of the paper. It's a slightly different process to a petition paper. And And then it can be pinned to a candle or burnt or put into a jar spell, however you want to work with it. Coloured threads to tie the coloured paper up if it needs tying. Yes, I often do it with a little bit of ribbon because I've got a whole stash of ribbon. So often, unless I'm burning it, if I'm burning it, then I will tie it with garden twine because that's eco-friendly and burns very nicely. Maria, you can plant seeds in a word. You can. They do that in some of the parks and gardens, don't they? Angela, finally use for that. Yes, excess Amazon packaging paper that comes in every parcel. Try not to use it, but sometimes one has to. Yes, they always put tons of brown paper in their boxes. I keep it. It works brilliantly for that. It works brilliantly as petition papers. It works brilliantly to make dispatcho. So big piece of, not the cold soup, that's gazpacho. For any of my Red Dwarf fans out there. A dispatcher is a big piece of brown paper. You put all of your intent ingredients in the center of it, fold it up with a bit of twine and burn it. It is about releasing and purification and getting rid of stuff. Yes, perfect for that. Jane, same idea. Yes, brown paper that comes from Amazon. Kindling, some gets ironed and used for making little parcels for trick or treat kids. If I get a particularly nice piece, I'll save it petitions. Yep. Very, very useful for petitions or for wrapping. As a spell pouch, you can wrap it up, use a brown paper to wrap up a spell pouch. Sephora, you must be able to do a digital petition as well. Delete trash bin and bring in the power of air element. Nice idea. That would work very well. Yep, I like that. Bringing in technology. Maria, my kitty like what the brown paper. Yes. We quite often use the smaller boxes that things come in and put a couple of dog treats in with the brown paper and then take the box up and give it to Eric because he likes to rip it apart because he's like that. I think it is about association. I think it is about tying things in and what you think ties in with that and what you can use, because there are it's recycling as well, isn't it? It is also, I mean, I bring food magic into this as well. Piece of paper from a flour packet would be good because flour absorbs things, so that would be good for getting rid of negative energy. Any of your cereal packets or any cardboard boxes that anything comes in, if you associate that food with a particular intent, you could use that piece of cardboard to write your petition on. It's about how you work with things and kind of tying that in. Now, I did talk about carving on candles in one of the other talks, but that in itself is a petition as well. Whether you carve your symbol or your sigil or initials into the candle, but you can also write a small petition and pin it to your candle, actually pin it to the body of the candle, or fold it up and put it underneath the candle. That works really well because as the candle burns down, it melts all the wax onto the petition and kind of seals the deal for your intent. Jane, like Sephora's idea, could cyberspace be another element? I kind of think of it, it's definitely the element of air, isn't it? And is it perhaps ether in some form? Yeah, that would work very well. It's about using what you have to hand, isn't it? You could do it on your phone as well. Petition, delete it. Yeah, I like that idea. That would work very well. I mean, I tend to use my petitions with spell pouches or candle magic, but you can you could write a petition for bringing positive energy in, and you could put it under your doormat. You could even write, I mean, Sharpies, brilliant. They write on the soles of shoes. They write under doormats, tiles, all sorts of things. You could just, use them to write, to bring magic into the house by using the doormat as your petition paper. Big petition paper. But I think David mentioned earlier about drawing things on the wall. You can do all sorts of symbols and signs and sigils on the walls of your home to bring in positive energy. Or if you've got particularly noisy or offensive neighbor one side, you can write with your finger on the wall, petition on your adjoining wall. It doesn't even have to be, it could just be a pentagram to bring protection. But whenever you're doing it, visualize. You have to charge these things. If you're just writing prosperity and abundance on a piece of paper, then you're just writing words. You've got to put your energy into it. You have to visualize your goal happening as you're writing it. You have to charge that piece of paper as you would with any of your ingredients when you're spell working. Put your intent into that paper, into the herbs, you've got to work that magic rather than just write the words. It's all a process, really. Jane, you could fill a bathroom with magic by writing on the back of each tile before sticking it to the wall. Nice. Have you ever stripped wallpaper in a house and found words written on the wall underneath? I'm thinking of a Sherlock Holmes story now. Study in Scarlet, where Rache was written on the wall. You could, if you're painting the house or wallpapering, you could write positive petition words on the walls before you paint or before you put the wallpaper up. Yeah, that would work really well. Claire, charge a crystal and place on top of a petition. I do that quite a lot, particularly if I'm working a candle magic spell. I will work the candle magic with the petition and the crystal in front of the candle, or beside it, so that it charges with the energy. And then when the spell is done, if I need the spell to continue doing its thing, I'll put the petition on my altar with a crystal or a pebble or a shell, depending on what I feel will work, on top of it, so that it carries on doing its thing. Yeah, it works very well. Maria, dust petitions. Writing in dust, plenty here. Yeah, you and me both, Maria. Witches have to have dust and cobwebs in their houses because we need them for spell working. Yeah, you could, absolutely. Any powdery substance works well. So cornmeal is traditionally used in some folk magic traditions. Salt works well, soil, flour, anything like that. You can draw petitions, probably better outside because then you don't have to clear it up. You can draw petitions on the ground outside with those. Make sigils, symbols. Be mindful of putting salt in the garden because it does affect the soil balance, and outside anywhere as well, obviously. Be mindful with seeds, if you're working with seeds, that they are going to grow, they are going to germinate. You could do it with flower petals or crushed herbs. Doing a symbol or a sigil outside would work very well. You could do it when you're cooking. If you are making bread or scones or pastry, something with flour, draw a symbol or a sigil in the flour before you roll your pastry out or before you knead your bread. It's thinking about how you work with these things. Maria, you could use chalk coloured even and have colour magic thrown in. That would work very well. Chalk symbols, sigils on the pavement, on your patio, brilliant, because they'll wash off. Yeah, nice. I think chalk as well has got its own magical properties, so you could bring that in with into your magic working as well. You're bringing colour magic, but you're also bringing in the things that you use to write with, the things that you use to create that magic. It's all about association. Auntie. Now, so my tea bag's got one of these on. You could use that as a petition. If you've got a herbal tea bag with that label on, it would carry, you could use that to associate with the energy of the herbal tea. That would work too. Angela also makes fabulous faux leather for book covers when making our journals. Oh, the brown paper. We used to cover our school books in brown paper. Xenia, as for powders, make ink from red brick dust. Yes, when there was deconstruction work in my street, I took some pieces of red bricks from their garbage container. When we had our house renovated, I took a brick to use specifically to make red brick dust. It is a magical ingredient in a lot of folk magic traditions on its own, just red brick dust. It's quite protective. It's quite fiery. And that works very well. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Are tattoos petitions? Yes, I guess they probably are. I have, well, all of my tattoos pretty much are parts of my spiritual journey. So they are life journey markers for me. But some of my tattoos do have protection symbols in them. Got a little, she's upside down, but I've got a little kelech there. But I've got protection symbols in this one. There are various different ones in there. Yeah, I think they probably are. You could definitely work that into it. Absolutely. Maria, write a petition on the back of a print and hang it. Every time you see it, remind you and bring in the energy every time. Very nice idea. I have plenty of pictures. Yeah, easy to do. Right on the back of them. Yep. Jane, you could make a sigil that means do not disturb and write it in chalk outside the front door at siesta time. You could, if you've got a doormat as well, you can write all sorts of things like, go away under the doormat to keep unwanted people out. Bear in mind that go away would probably keep everyone out, but then you might want to do that anyway. Your doormat is the entrance to your home. Your doormat or your porch. I think we talked about hallways last week, but it is the entrance. So whatever comes in to your house is bringing energy with it. So you want to make sure that's positive energy. So I quite often work doormat spells, whether it is placing a petition underneath it or coins underneath it to bring prosperity into the house. Cinnamon under your doormat will bring positive and happy energy into the house. The doormat's quite a good one for working magic with because it is the entrance to your home. It is the thing that people step on. Mentioned foot track magic earlier. That works very well because they're stepping on that petition. They're stepping on that magic and walking that into your home. So be mindful of what you put there. Just saying. I think it is about, it's a really simple way to work magic, but there are so many different ways of working with it, and there are so many different ways of adding layers of intent and magic to it. It doesn't have to be really fancy. You can buy spell petition paper that sparks when you set fire to it, which is very dramatic. I think it is about working with what's in your means as well, and what you have to hand. I'm a kitchen witch, so I work with whatever I've got to hand. But it is about utilizing whatever it is that you've got to hand and what ties in with those associations for it. Maria, write in witch's language. You could write in the Theban alphabet. If you work with runes, you can write runes on there. If you work with the Ogham, you could draw Ogham symbols on there. Sigils we covered in another talk a long while back, but we could probably do another one on sigils. They work brilliantly as well. And if you're writing in something like Theban, then no one else is going to understand what it is if they accidentally found it. You have to understand it first, though. I think Latin always sounds like a magical language too. That would work. Emma, my tattoos on my left arm are my spiritual journey. My tattoos on my right are some of my journey, but also family and my music tastes. Nice. I think tattoos are always very personal, aren't they? I think all of mine are my journey. Pentagrams, moon goddess. The bee was for my menopausal journey. I do have my children's names. I have pumpkins because born on Halloween. I've got a green man. I've got Merlin. I've got a dragon, obviously. I have the triple goddess. I have dragonflies. I have my wild boar. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. A tree. All part of my spiritual journey. They will be Googling. Yeah. Good old Google. Susie, Welsh always sounds magical to me. Oh, when Welsh is spoken properly, when I speak it, it just sounds embarrassing. But when it's spoken properly, is a beautiful language. But I think, again, it has to mean something to you. I don't have any Welsh connections. I don't have any Welsh family history or DNA or anything. So it wouldn't really make sense for me to do that. So I think it has to mean something to you. If you work with the Welsh pantheon, then brilliant. Yeah, it's got to resonate with you, I think. But keep it simple. Don't make it complicated. Spells can go wrong anyway. They have a habit of going wrong because they can be misinterpreted and because the universe is a git. But it is about thinking specifically about what you want and visualizing that goal, but being concise with your wording. A petition is meant to be short, so keep it. And if you're writing in a language that you don't speak or you don't necessarily work with, then it does leave it open for misinterpretation. It's the old story of people getting the Chinese symbol tattoos and finding out that the symbol that they thought meant courage actually means goat's cheese or something. So it's about using language that you actually understand as well. I think makes sense. just to be careful. Jane, the Theban alphabet. Sometimes I write bits of it in the margins of my journal, but I'll never be fluent in it. Latin is great, even Potteresque, not quite Latin. Caro mortis esci meum pertubant, or something like that, is a favourite protection thing for property, but can apply to people. It means anyone who disturbs me is dead meat. But I think that as well, if you are saying it, be mindful of the pronunciation. There are a lot of letters in Latin that are said differently than we would say them in English. So it is about pronunciation as well. It is about knowing and understanding what you say, but Latin works brilliantly. I did try and learn it, but it's very difficult. Karen, petitions work best when they are realistic too. Yeah. If you're going to write a petition to marry a prince, probably not going to happen. Susie, agree, things must resonate. Absolutely. But I'm just enthralled when I hear someone like Mara Starling, when she speaks Welsh, is amazing. It sounds so beautiful. It absolutely does. I want to thank you all for helping my migraine. Oh, bless you. I hope it gets better. Yes, thank you as always for ideas. Maria needs Pratchett. I would use Pratchett somehow. I've got this thing now that I'm trying to use Pratchett quotes in my books when I write them. I'm trying to squeeze at least one Pratchett quote in the book. There's a couple in the Dragon Magic book. I've already got a couple in the next book that I'm writing at the moment. So, yeah, it's a mission of mine. Karen, the only bit of Latin I know is dulce et decorum est. See, whenever I see the word dulce, it makes me think of the caramel sauce. But hey, language is difficult. I've been trying to learn German slowly, very slowly. But I'm enjoying it. But there's more words there that I don't know what does that mean, Karen? Don't throw Latin words out there and then don't tell us what they mean. Maria, yes, you use headology. I do use the word headology a lot. Terry Pratchett understood magic. He understood people. He understood magic. And headology is an awful lot of what goes on with magic. But I'm trying to use some of his actual quotes from his books because he was a very wise man. Very wise man. So petitions, there you go. If you have any suggestions or thoughts or would like to share any of your ideas, do pop them on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group. We always like to share our thoughts and our ideas. We all learn from it. Karen, it's a sweet and fitting to die for one's country, a Wilfred Owen poem. Okay, thank you. Trudy's off for a walk. Yep, got to walk the dogs. Xenia, I learned it the hard way, being precise. Yep, me too. I had learned not aiming against a specific person, so I didn't use their name but described them. But then the universe removed a dear person, not dead, they're fine, but removed. For the future, I say precisely who I want to get rid of. Yes, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I think we do learn from our experiences, don't we? Good or bad, mistakes or otherwise, we do learn from them all. And don't let any of this put you off from spell working. The only way to get better at spell working is to actually do it. You have to. You have to. No shortcut. No shortcut to experience. So thank you. Hopefully we've all learned something. I always do. Get your Sharpies out. get your making your. If anyone's got any magical ink recipes that you know work, do pop them in the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group. Maria, can we do flowers specifically rather than all plants 1 week? We did do flower magic a few weeks back. If you want me to do specific flowers, let me know, Maria. But we did cover flower magic a few weeks back. But we can do something specific. Of course we can. So thank you, as always. If you are free Sunday evening, do join us for the online abundance ritual. If you are free in September, do join us for the Sulis. All of the Sulis hoard boxes sold out already. Thank you so much. If you'd like to pre-order a signed copy of the Sulis book, they are available from the Kitchen Witch website. If you want to book a reading, Kitchen Witch shop website. And all sorts of wonderfully handcrafted witchy stuff on there as well. Jane says, you have to give the universe keywords only. It doesn't process want or don't want. Yes, only gives you whatever you mention, whether you want it or not. Yeah, the universe generally knows best. Be mindful. Have a good week, everyone. Thank you, as always, for joining me. And I will see you all again next week.